So welcome back to the channel, guys, and I thought this video might be of some interest to some of you, and that is replacing a CV boot, especially if you haven't got a pit or a ramp to put your car or vehicle on. This is a Ford Transit Connect, and I have a split on my CV boot. Now a CV boot is, just get this out, the replacement. It is one of these, which basically keeps all the crap and the dust out of the joint that where the drive shaft goes into the front wheels on in this case. Now you'll notice this one is split like that. It's supposed to be split. It's called a universal CV boot joint cover. I'll drop a link down below where I got it from, and what you basically do is glue it together once it's on. Never used one before. I have put a CV boot on before, but it means removing the drive shaft and everything to do it, and of course these are designed to do in situ, so in other words you'll be doing it without removing your drive shafts and everything. But like I said, I do have a split in my old one, so I do need to replace it, so we're going to crack on with this now. The kit does come with the boot obviously, and get some gloves. Well, you do with this kit anyway, it might differ from others. You get the rings as well. You do need a tool to use one of these, and if you haven't got one then you're going to struggle a little bit to do it. And you also get some grease to put in your joint as well, and there should be some glue somewhere. No, it's here, or cement. It's like a really strong super glue, so that will go in the gap there where the split is. Now you might not be able to see this on the camera, but it does actually have a groove on the inside, so it's like a tongue and groove. So you basically need to practice putting it together before you put it on, and lining it up so that there's no things. So you need to get the seam right before you do it, and it's always best to do it a couple of centimeters at a time as you're applying the glue. Apparently only it takes 20-30 seconds to set, so it should be able to do it in a couple of hours at least. So let's get cracking with it anyway. So as you can see, this is the CV boot there. There's just a little bit of grease leaking out of it there because it is split, like I've said earlier. So we're going to need to replace that, but as you can see, you can get to it quite easily. Now if you was to remove this, you would need to remove the nut that holds the whole drive shaft in and everything, and remove the whole strut and everything to bring it out, so you could pull it out of the gearbox. But you run the risk of disjointing it further up if you do that. So obviously it's probably easier to do it this way. So we need to remove these clips first. So I'm using a hacksaw to get these things off. I'm not bothered about damage. we're just going to clean up the area a little bit. Because what you want is a good seal. So you notice the smaller end there has two different sizes for your drive shaft, so you need to remove the smaller one if it's larger, obviously, and just keep the smaller one if that's the size of your drive shaft. So this section here needs to be removed, so we're going to cut that away and then apply this to the new drive shaft. So I've trimmed this a little bit now, obviously offering it further up the drive shaft there. So what you need to do is squeeze them together until you're happy that you can get them glued in with a nice tight joint. So you have to start gluing it a couple of centimetres at a time, or maybe just a centimetre while it's on the drive shaft. Bit fiddly, I know, but obviously it's a lot less hassle than taking the drive shaft out. So what we need to do is apply some adhesive. I would probably be tempted to put it into the groove first, so we're going to do this section here and maybe do that bit there and around, and then it's a case of squeezing it all together. You have to apply some pressure when you're doing this, and hopefully it'll just hold it together for long enough so you can move on to the next section. Just squeezing them together and then just applying the glue into the gap, making sure there's enough adhesive in there, and then squeezing them together. And as you can see, it does hold it quite strongly. And I think we've got time to do that bit there. Very strong glue is this stuff, as you can see. As you get further on, like I said, to the wider bit, it just gets a little bit easier. Now it does 20-30 seconds, it does cement it together, but it's best to leave it a bit longer just to make sure. Again, this is the first time I've used one of these. They do come highly recommended, so what I'm going to do is just run a bit more cement along the joint for about 10 minutes, and then we'll come back to it. So we have it all together now. It feels nice and solid, and it's surprising how strong that glue is on this rubber, but it is a proper cement glue. It's not come apart, it's got a nice grip to the seal. Like I said, I've run a bit more in on top just to make sure it is sealed It's gone a little bit off there. Don't think I'm bothered about that. It will seal it. We do have the clips here to put on as well, but first we need to put some grease in. Now this is the tool that's needed for putting the clips on. We'll do that in a minute, but first we need to put the grease in. So all I'm going to do is apply some grease, because grease is the word. Now you might notice there's two ridges there. This is where the boot needs to be, at the top. So when you put the clamp on the clip, it needs to be around those two so that it gets a seal. So what we're going to do is apply this grease. Now I'm wearing gloves, so I'm going to force some in. There's enough grease there for the whole joint, so use it all if you need to. You've been given it in your packaging, so you might as well. Next thing I'm going to do is remove a glove. So now I'm on the blue gloves again. So I don't get any grease on anything else. And I'm going to bring this down. A little bit of rust there gone in, and it should slide over the top of that. And as you can see, one of the lines has now appeared, so now we know that's where that needs to go. So what we're going to do is move it, slide it up a bit first. So I'm going to do the back clip first. So as you have the clip ready to go on, you need to get it onto where you want it, and maybe just cut it down if you need to. This one's quite a big one, is this one. So you need to clip it on to so basically, let me show you on this one in a minute. We have these little hooks there, there's three of them, probably see that, and the hook on the inside there, so you have to get it round and hooked in. Like that, so you hear it click slightly. Once it's in and you're satisfied that that is the right size for the actual size of the prop shaft, and obviously compensating for the rubber as well, you take your tool and this bit here on the clip, you basically get your tool around it and squeeze it together, and what that will do is form a nice tight seal around the joint. Now you need a bit of room to do this, so it's a case of finding. So what we've done there is shaped it a little bit so that it goes round, and I'm just going to get this on now. And again, same principle applies to the other one. So there we go, that is your CV boot installed there, and quite a simple little job, like I say, hour, 2 hours, depending on what tools and equipment you've got, and it should do the job. It'll pass your MOTs at least. Saves a lot of hassle taking the drive shafts out, and obviously doing any other damage that you may do to your car or van. But there you go, this is it, like I said, a universal boot kit, and it comes with all the bits and pieces that you need to install it, except for the tools. So these clips, obviously you need something like that, which you can pick up relatively cheap. You do get another tool with it, just find that one, which is one of these. This is for doing the other type of clips, but I've not really used that one much. So there you go, hope you enjoyed the video, hope you got something out of it, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.